Hello team, and welcome back to another edition of Kudo Camera Company live stream. I am Ben Kudo, owner of Kudo Camera Company, and welcome. So it's been a few days between live streams here, so it's good to be back. And today we're going to talk about, as you can see, the Canon Pellix, which is a very unique camera. So before we get into it, don't forget to check out our website where you can find links to our eBay store. So you visit us at kudocameracompany.com. That's C-O-U-T-O, kudocameracompany.com. And you'll find links to our eBay store where you can find classic lenses and camera bodies, as well as a ton of mirrorless camera adapters. So you can use all these cool vintage lenses on your mirrorless cameras. And you can also find us on Amazon, where we purely, at the moment, are stocking mirrorless lens adapters, but I'm sure that's going to continue to grow. And you can find us on Facebook and Instagram, and of course here on YouTube. Please don't forget to subscribe. It helps us grow our channel, and eventually we'll get a custom URL once we hit that magic 100 subscribers. So I know we're a bit of a niche community here, but all the more reason to subscribe. Love your feedback. So let's take a look here. We have the Pellix camera. So what's really interesting about this camera is that it has a mirror in it, but the mirror actually only it lets through 65% of the light, or 66% of the light, and the rest of it bounces up to the viewfinder. So this is totally different than most SLRs. We're going to get into that, but it's very unique for that reason. So just a quick bit of background about the camera. Canon Pellix was developed by Canon Camera Company in 1965, I believe. So yeah, it's 1965. It lets through 65% of light through the mirror. It will actually shoot straight through the mirror to the film, and the rest of it will bounce up to your eye. So what's unique about the camera is really it's the fact that the mirror doesn't go up like most cameras. So if we take a look here at a traditional, let's just get this in here. A traditional SLR, you can watch this mirror is going to bounce up. See how it does that? And on the Pellix, when we fire it, so we'll crank it, fire it, you're going to see there's no movement inside. So pretty interesting. Why do they do that? I'm not quite sure. If you have any feedback on that, I'd love to have your comments on exactly why they came up with this idea, but it certainly makes it unique. So maybe just fewer moving parts. I'm not quite exactly sure. But I know that one of the things they anticipated was, since there's only going to be a lesser amount of light, they're going to need to have more powerful lenses. So that's why the base model lens was really this 50mm f1.4, which is going to let a lot of light into the viewfinder. So a lot of people back in the day would use this and preview your shot, get your focus at 1.4, but then would stop it down a bit to shoot. But certainly the 1.4 is a good thing for us nowadays. And then the other lens that was common was the 58mm f1.2. So I've got a few of those, probably even for sale in the store. Plus I have some over on my camera shelf. But this 1.4 is in such great condition, and it came with, there's a bit of a shine there, but it came with the silver cap. So I just keep this one on my camera shelf, and it's a great camera. So, and then what else we have here is this very special lens. It's the Canon FPL 38mm f2.8, and as you can see, it's extremely thin. So in addition to having the fast lenses on this camera, they were also able to make this lens, which protrudes out of the back. So it protrudes quite a bit. And the thing that was special about this lens, as you can see here, it says for Pellix only. For Pellix only. So the way that this lens works, there's this tab here at the top, which most FD lenses, well, all FD lenses have a tab, and that indexes with this here. But the difference is with this one, when you try to put it in, it won't sit down. It won't let you lock it in. It won't actually go all the way down. And that was kind of an ingenious way to keep people from using it. The reason is because when this mirror goes up, it's going to hit the lens because the lens goes down into there. So that's the reason that the lens is for Pellix only. And the reason that it's not a problem on the Pellix, you guessed it, it's because the mirror doesn't flip up. So that allows for this incredible looking lens, which actually lends itself to mirrorless extremely well too. So normally with the form factor on mirrorless, by the time you put on your adapter and you get, especially a bulky lens like this, it ends up being kind of big. So I know when I was first getting into mirrorless, I was kind of always into the pancake lenses, trying to find some pancake lenses. So this is an absolutely incredible example of that. So the FPL, you don't see a lot of these. They're actually extremely expensive, very rare. But if you have, everything else, then this will be one of the things you need to get. So, you got the 58mm f1.2, you got the 38mm 2.8, and you're going to be in really good shape with this camera. So, let's see, just going over a few more things here with this. Let's take a look at actually the operation of the Pellix. So starting over here, you've got, let me see the best way to show this. Let's switch into the wide angle and really get the macro, and get a little bit of a closer look at this. So starting here, you've got the film counter, and then you've got a lever lock here. So that's helpful. The shutter release button. This camera works without a battery as far as firing it and working the shutter. The light meter won't work without the battery, of course. So the film advance lever. Now you've got the DIN and the ASA. For people who grew up on film, I bet you could tell me what DIN stands for, or I believe DIN and ASA are pretty much the same thing. It's just a different way of rating it. So the most common film for me, I like 400 film. I find it's pretty versatile. I was wanting to shoot more with a 100 film, but I find it's just, I can't always get my shutter speeds where I need them. So here's your dial here, and on this side we've got the DIN, and over here we've got ASA. So that's the way it works here. You don't see the DIN on a lot of the Canon bodies. The shutter speed dial, of course, we're all used to that. And then if you flip over the camera, this lever here, it's kind of off camera a little bit. Here's the shutter speed. And then on the front, this lever has multifunction. If you push it in, it's going to activate the light meter, and it will give you your reading. Inside there's a pin, and you'll see that. And then if you push this over, it's the self timer. So, okay. For the lens, you've got the aperture control here, your focus here. Looks like the minimum focus is about a little less than 2 feet on this particular lens. And then you've got the auto and manual. So again, if you want to see the lens all the time, this is going to show you what the sort of exposure you're going to get. But if you want to keep it in looking like 1.4 until you actually fire the camera, you can switch it over to auto mode. So here you don't actually see it move until you fire it. It's pretty cool. What else do we have? The accessory shoe. We've got the flash socket down here, and that's pretty much it. You've got the battery check, and then also the viewfinder curtain. So closed and opened. That's gonna close and open your viewfinder. Now another really cool thing I wanted to show about this particular camera, I guess there's two things and they both happen in the back. One is the QL. So QL stands for quick load, and the quick load just makes it so that when you pop this open, and it's got kind of the pro level security on the on getting into the back. It's got the two things that are going on here. One is the quick load. So all you have to do is just start the film going across, have it sort of hang, just like you can see in this picture, like it's not all the way loaded, it's just sort of across. And when you put that down, see, it just closes down on it, and you close that up, and it's going to allow the film just to go right in. So you don't have to feed the film into the sort of receiver spool. You just have to put it through. And the other thing that's really cool about this and very unique is instead of a cloth curtain, it has a metal curtain. The reason that there's a metal curtain instead of a cloth curtain is that Canon anticipated the stronger and brighter lenses, the f1.2 and the f1.4, would be more likely to burn holes into the cloth, especially with the fact that the sun would be peering through almost all the time, I guess, with the the mirror wouldn't be blocking it. Normally the mirror is going to block the sun and it's going to bounce up into your eye so you see it. But on this camera, 66% of the light all the time is going to be going straight through to the film curtain. So they were worried, I guess, about it getting dried out, cracked out, burnt out. And so they went with the metal, which is very cool. And then I guess last but not least, we have the 1.3 volt battery here. So this just goes off, you just unscrew it, and there's a battery compartment in there. And I actually, they come off all right. You just don't want to, cross-thread it or kind of reaching across. Again, it always feels a little bit like kind of Houdini trying to do things underneath the macro lens. I'll show you, I actually printed off a picture of close-up of the battery just so we could take a look at, let's see if I can get this looking good. So basically, that's the battery that you see. You're going to have the negative side into the camera. The positive side is going to be towards the cap. It's a 1.3 volt mercury battery, so that's great. I got this out of the user manual too, so you can find the user manual online. This will give you kind of your cheat sheet. If you bought this camera, this is worth printing off just to familiarize yourself with it. This Pellix is one of the few that I don't actually have the owner's manual myself. So that's I think a pretty good review of the camera. This is a really nice version of the camera. They have leather cases that say Pellix on the front that are pretty cool, but I tend not to go around with the leather case. But this is just a really cool camera. Definitely unique. I don't really compare it head to head with the A1 and the AE1 or the AE1 program. It has fewer features, but some parts of it are, it's a totally different beast completely. So the biggest difference is it does not use auto aperture. It does not have program mode. But it will fire without a battery. So having it fire with no battery, you can use the Sunny 16 rule and get out there and take tons of pictures without having to worry about having a battery. But it is lacking a couple of features, primarily the program. I guess the only other thing I would like to mention about the camera is just the range of shutter speeds. It goes all the way down to 1 second in bulb on the low end, and on the high end it goes up to 1/1000th of a second. So pretty much it does everything that you would want it to do, but it does not do the program. So if you need it to, or if you want it to shoot in program, that would be one thing you'd be lacking. But otherwise, it's a great camera. So definitely get out there and get yourself a Pellix. You can have a lot of fun with this camera. You don't have to get yourself the pancake lens. There's only a few normally for sale. There's like 1 or 2 for sale normally. This one is not for sale. Just a pro tip: if you do go out and get yourself the 38mm lens, there's a way to modify your adapter so you don't ever have to take out this screw that's back there or anything like that. If you want a modified adapter, send me a message and I'll go ahead and take care of it for you. So I do have Canon FD adapters for Micro Four Thirds, Fujifilm FX, and Sony E-mount or Sony NEX. So just yeah, please do check out the store, see what you can find for cool Canon stuff, and as always, please come back, subscribe to the YouTube, and we appreciate any feedback that you have. So look forward to seeing you again soon, and please be well in the meanwhile. Take care.